Hey, what's up guys? This is Firebeatz.
And we're gonna show you how we made a new track with samples from Tracklib. So we started by searching for samples on Tracklib. We end up using 2 samples. The first one we took was this one by Karia, Let Me Love You For Tonight. Yeah, this melody is really cool. It reminded us a bit of Fateless. So we started by importing that sample into our DAW. We use Logic. And then we pitched it down like 12 semitones. And we added some effects, yeah, actually a lot. But for instance, this one is really cool. To give it some more character. Here is the off, and now I'll add it again. From there, we had a starting point. We had the melody, so we made some chords that were like a nice layer underneath it.
Yeah, so this is the main chords for the breakdown, and basically it's from the melody, the chords from the melody, but then in a slower tempo with longer notes. Everything is legato. As you can see, it has a build up towards the next one. Here's some tempo changes in the piano. So this part over here is very straightforward. Then the next part of the piano is there's some little tempo changes and the filter opens up. Playing along with the Tracklib sample. So every time the sample plays chords coming in. Okay, so then we go to the drop where we actually have the same chords as in the breakdown, but then we made them more rhythmic, staccato-like.
Yeah.
So it sounds a little bit like this. Okay, so now we're gonna play the breakdown, build up, and the drop. It's also actually funny because the original sample has, I think, 3 chords or 4 chords, but we added an extra chord. So this is the original sample again. And as you can hear in our chords, we added in the end a different chord. This one. Which made it a little bit more interesting, or else it would be just a regular loop. So that's how we used the inspiration of the chords in the sample to create like an extra one. So going ahead, maybe you can tell something about the vocal.
The vocal that we used is this one from Tracklib. It's called People Get Up by Victor Simonelli.
People get up, stop your feet, let's get down.
I really like a nice soul, old school house kind of vibe going on. And actually for this one, we used Ableton to stretch the vocal. We like that because Ableton is, in our opinion, better with stretching for vocals.
Yeah.
We ended up like warping it and pitching it up like 2 semitones to get it in the tune, in the key of the track that we had. And then you come
People get up, stop your feet, let's get down.
instead of like the low pitched.
This is the original pitch. So can you play it again?
People get up, stop your feet, let's get down.
And now the new pitch in our track.
The new pitch in our track. I can also open it in Logic. We use the Complex Pro for this one.
People get up, stop your feet, let's get.
So that is the sample.
The cool thing about the Complex Pro is that you can also change the formants if you like. So if you pull it to 0, you hear that.
People get up,
You hear the.
stop your
You hear that it pitches up. It almost sounds like a what
like
is
a
it?
robot.
Donald Duck
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
But when you pull the formats up to 100, it actually stretches it in a way that it sounds natural again. So
Yeah.
it keeps the original vocal sound. So can you play the
people get up,
it's the Donald Duck?
stop your feet, let's
And now it
get
sounds
down.
like normal again. So that's really a cool thing about using Complex Pro in Ableton Live for the sound.
And then we imported that sample into our session here in Logic.
People get up, stop your feet, let's get down.
We added like a bunch of effects on it to make it fit in the track. What we use a lot is this UAD plugins. We love this Teletronic. It's a compressor to like pump it up and control as well the transients. Let me check. What did we do to this vocal? More stuff. We cut it out like a lot of frequencies that were like annoying.
People get up, stop your feet, let's get down. People get up, stop your feet, let's get. People get up.
There's a lot of annoying like frequencies here in the upper mids, and because it's an original sample, everything is still included, so it's not a dry vocal. The clap is included, which makes it like authentic, but also it includes a lot of bad frequencies that were like annoying in our mixdown. Then a cool thing we did with the vocal was this plugin from Soundtoys, the Alter Boy. We can change like the formants in the track, and we did that in the build up.
And we before we were talking about formants on the vocal in Ableton Live, where you had the higher pitched voice, and you can do the same thing with the Alter Boy, but you can put it on basically any sound you put it on. So the formants change the how do you say, the tune.
Yeah.
Not the pitch, but the formant or the tune of a voice, which makes it very interesting. For instance, in this build-up, we pulled it down a little bit.
Yeah,
Can you
it gives
play
a
it?
cool effects.
So you hear the voice getting heavier, but it's not pitching down. So it's actually pretty fun. Gives a cool effect for build-ups.
Yeah, keeps it moving.
Yes.
And actually in the drop we also used it. So in the drop we first used like a little chop.
Yeah, we chopped it up a little bit. Used certain words. As you can hear, we were kind of bound to the sample being placed where it is because there's a clap into it. So if you pay close attention to the loop, every how do you say, step, there's like a little clap into it. And so if you move it out of the place where the clap is not there, it's going to sound really weird. So we had to very carefully move the sample around. So that results in, maybe you can play it from the build up to the drop. You can hear how we put it in and how it sounds in the track. in this section, you can see that we have the build-up. We basically loop the vocal. It's pretty well known in dance music. Yeah. There's the altar boy also coming up. We do some filtering on the vocal, so you can hear it kind of slowly fading away and then coming back again in the drop. And over here, the whole vocal comes back in, and after that we chop it up to have like an extra section with the vocal where you can hear that it's chopping. I thought that was a pretty nice add to
it lifts
the
track
drop.
to,
Yeah.
to the last part, so everything comes together.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's the main things we did with both of our samples. Yeah, the rest of the track is just filled with
With our own stuff.
our own stuff.
So the way we search for this a cappella, it's actually like very hands-on. So you click on all tracks, and here you can choose whatever you want, like the song keys, the genres. I think if I remember well, we used the soul one for this one, and the track types, a vocal, and from there we took it away and like just listened to every sample, and whatever the ones you like, you can add them to your favorites.
Yeah,
And that's also a very nice thing.
for sure. So you basically just make a selection of stuff you like, and then you can later go back to your favorites on the left under your library and purchase tracks, and then you can just choose anything you like that you saved. It's pretty handy.
Yeah, you can basically loop inside the preview already, which is very nice. So you play a vocal and you can just press the loop button, and it makes instantly a loop, and then you search in the track. And that's very nice. Like you can hear what you could do with the vocal already, so that's cool.
It's a very cool feature. It's actually the first time I've seen it in any sample site, so it's very good. Yeah, and next to that, when you're looking for acapellas and vocal, that's the way how we did it. Yeah, genres. I would, if you're a dance producer like us, I think there's an electronic section, and electronic is all the club stuff and dance and house stuff. So you should try it in there, and save a selection, check out what you like, and then later on you can add it to the track.
I think we also used the BPM range because we were at like 123 in our track, so we didn't want to stretch like too much, so anything between
exactly
10 between is possible.
And that's a good point you're making, because when you have a sample that's like a very low in BPM, for say something between 60 and 90 or 100, and you have to pitch it up, speed it up till like 125 or something, you're gonna hear like some loss in quality. So when you're looking for your BPM, it's probably gonna sound better too inside your project. So it saves a lot of time mixing. That's nice. For the melody, I must say, I think we
probably
checked
did something
out.
like this. Yeah.
I remember it was kind of a sort of a disco kind of track, right? Or like.
Yeah.
So same wave going around. We just entered what we liked, what kind of genre we were looking for. Also, a cool feature is you can do the release year. You can actually choose which year the sample is brought out or the song is brought out. Mostly for dance stuff that's sampled.
Yeah, disco is all around to the 80s, like
It's
late
from
70s.
From the 80s, late 70s, 80s, still up until now actually.
Yeah.
So that would be one of our search terms to start with. Region, so this one was also kind of new to me, but especially when you're making like music, for instance, like hip hop or other stuff. Caribbean is very interesting to check out. So that was some of the search terms I use for that kind of stuff. And if you don't want to pay a lot of cash for your sample, just make sure you check the category C box, because then you get all the stuff that's in category C, and as you know, that's the one that costs the least to license. So that's basically how we use the search engine from Tracklib. Another fun feature of the site is the inspiration tab. If you go to the left, you see a lot of tabs. On the top one is called inspiration. Basically, it's like lists or like labels the people from Tracklib made, or as you can see, artists that you can click on. And if you're feeling like, I want some Middle Eastern stuff, let's go. You click on the Middle East heat, and they selected a couple of samples for you already. For your inspiration. And you're straight up in Marrakesh, if you like. So that's very nice. And that's a cool way to be very creative with the samples.
Spot on.
Definitely. There are a lot of artists on here you can check out, and labels. Somebody mentioned there was also like a weird labels, some Hawaiian music, everything's on here. So if you can go crazy and go very far with sampling, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the track that we worked on with the samples from Tracklib, I think the melody, that's the basic of our song. So I like that the most. Like we mentioned, it reminded us of a Fateless song.
Yeah.
And we took the track from there, and it's still inside the track, but in a different way. So I think it's a good combination of using a sample and make it your own.
Definitely, while we were analyzing that sample, it was very fun to see, because we're pretty good on the keys, but like finding out how people who make those songs use the keys different than us. We found out a lot about the sample. It sounds pretty basic, but if you dive a little bit deeper into it, it's actually pretty
magic.
Pretty good. So that was the fun part, and I like that part the most too, actually. The melody in the breakdown. So making this track was a little different because we used an original sample, and it sounds already like a little old school, so we were like, let's go with that vibe. And I mean, we produced around that a little bit, so I must say the track is a little bit more old school than we produce usually. A little bit more houseier, but I think everything blends well, really nice. So I'm happy we went that way. Thanks for checking out our Tracklib track.
Please let us know what you think about it, and we hope to see you somewhere soon.